gravity, which necessarily also correlatively turns up this repulsive force,
conceivably.
right?
So it's just a fairly complicated problem that you don't want to dismiss too quickly by saying it all goes away unless it's precisely as we've seen. But it is the motivation for the multiverse, another motivation, because one explanation simply would be there are many, 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 many universes in which the parameters have all different values across those many universes. And in most of those universes, the conditions are not amenable to living systems like human beings. But in one of those, or a small number of those universes, the conditions are amenable. And of course, we're in one of those universes because we could not exist in any of the others because the conditions are not correct. You know, the analogy is if you go into a clothing shop and you want to buy a sports coat, and you say, I want to buy a sports coat, and you see only one on the rack, and the person brings it over and it fits you perfectly. You're like, wow, that is so fortunate that it was just the right size to fit me. But if you go into an actual clothing shop, when there's hundreds of different sports jackets on the rack of all different sizes, when the person comes and brings you one that fits, you're not surprised. Of course, there's one among the many that works for you.
Yep.
And so if you have many jackets, it's obvious why one will fit. If you have many universes, it's also pretty obvious why one will fit the conditions necessary to our existence. And so it is a natural way of avoiding the problem that you're making reference to. The specialness of this universe goes away if it's one of a grand collection of possibilities.
Yeah. If I went into a shop and they had a sports jacket in just my size, I'd feel pretty special. I'd feel pretty...
It's not where my self-worth comes from. You know, I sort of don't look at the specialness of the universe or my place within that special universe. Rather, what fires me up is the fact that a collection of particles called a human brain, which is all that we are, collections of particles, can coalesce through an evolutionary dynamics to yield a structure that can think and feel and love and emote and create and illuminate and figure out quantum mechanics and figure out general relativity and come up with the idea of a multiverse and describe black holes and predict the magnetic moment of the electron. And that, to me, is the amazing thing, that matter, not infused with any divine force, not, in my view, structured by some divine plan, can, through the bare laws of physics, come together and do what it does.